It would be like meeting someone who was born clear-minded and healthy. But that person is born into a community where most everybody limps for whatever reason. And then them making fun of the way he walks because he is not yet limping. And him saying, hey, I know you're all limping and seem to be liking it, but I don't feel like limping and don't seem to need to. And they all say, limping is what we do here. Learn to limp. And he says, I don't feel like limping. And so they just club him in the knee. And then he limps along, and then they all say, good. Good, Joseph. We're not exaggerating that. That is a perfect analogy, you see. And so what he is saying to all of you is, I don't feel like limping.
Thank you.
Don't worry about him. And don't worry about what the teachers think about him. Now, you have an emotional journey to take, though, don't you? Because think about it. So he is who he is. And do you remember how much trouble you got into? You were just like him. And your mother took a lot of trouble to try to make you different. Did it work? So it just brought you grief and her grief. Mm-hmm. But it did not change your stubbornness, did it? So you're not really eager to do that with Joseph. And so what choice do you have as you see him as this independent genius creator that he is? What choices do you have? Do you think that you could humiliate him into conformity? No, and wouldn't want to. Do you think you could punish him into conformity? Didn't work with you. So what are your choices? Do you think that you can, in terms of an action journey, make him be different than he was born to be? You can you? So you have some options here. You have this little rascal who is tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And you can look for reasons to feel good about it or look for reasons to feel bad about it. The emotional journey that you want to take, we don't think is about changing him because we think, like us, you like him pretty much just like he is. We think your problem is with the school system that doesn't understand what you understand or what Abraham understands or what Joseph understands. So would you say that your emotional journey is about feeling better about their ignorance?
Probably.
Is it feeling better about their ignorance? Or, oh, we're really getting here somewhere. Is it about finding a way to get them to approve of you when you have a son like Joseph? Ooh, that's big, isn't it? So, here I've got this son who behaves in a non-conforming way. Brilliant, magnificent being. Do you want him to be different than that? Would you like him to be afraid? Would you like him to kowtow? Would you like him to do what they want him to do? Do you like him being independent? So, the action journey, in terms of how Joseph is, you don't want to change. But how you feel about how they feel about Joseph, you do want to change. So, you've got some choices. They're probably going to continue to disapprove of him. And you can't make him behave in an approving way. So, your choice is they can disapprove of him and you can be all right with it, or they can disapprove of him and you can be not all right with it. Which would feel better to you?
To be all right with it.
So now, offer some words toward that end. I want to find a way to be all right, even when they're not all right with how Joseph is. Didn't we get to it? So, ramble a little bit and see if you can find some relief in that.
I don't want to hear them say anything to me when I walk in the door.
All right, that's making it worse.
I just want to pick them up from school and leave. So I don't have to see them.
Not helping.
I want to stay active in the school like I've been doing.
I like my role in school.
So,
I'd like to
yeah,
be able to
yeah.
influence them a little bit. I'd like them to understand the creative geniuses that they've got. I'd like them to understand that school is not jail. School's an environment where creativity can be expressed, and it should be able to be expressed in lots of different ways. And I would like to be able to help foster the creativity, not the conformity, in these kids. And born to me is a magnificently creative child that is lighting a fire within me to want to do that, and this could be fun. That felt better. You didn't say it, but it felt better when you heard it. In other words, make yourself feel better. What's the goal? To feel better about how they feel about Joseph, who will not change. In other words, have you given up on the action journey? You better, because you can't change him, so he's going to be like he is and you can like it, or he can be like he is and you cannot like it. And which do you think is better for you, and which do you think is better for him? Do you know that the magnificent genius creators of your world, every one of them without exception was like Joseph when they were born and just never got over it? In other words, they didn't yield. They allowed their creative juices to continue to flow. Isn't that what you really want for him?
Yep.
And does a teacher that doesn't understand that, do you want that teacher to get in the way of that?
No.
So do you want to feel good about the teacher's misunderstanding, or do you want to feel bad about the teacher's misunderstanding?
I just don't want to care about what she thinks.
Well, that's a good step. So now you can't change Joseph. Can
No.
you change the teacher?
No.
You can't, can you?
No.
And so all that effort in trying to get Joseph to be different isn't going to amount to anything anyway. It's sort of all wasted effort, isn't it?
Yes.
So why do you care? Because others make you care. The teacher calls you because the teacher wants to wield her power. The teacher wants to say to you, I can't be happy when your son behaves this way, so you need to make your son behave differently. And then you want to say to the teacher, well, I'm sorry, I can't feel happy when you behave the way you do about the way my son behaves, so you need to change the way you're behaving about my son so that I can be happy. And Joseph is the only wise one. He says, hey, I'm happy. You guys don't need to behave in any way to make me happy. You're out of my picture. You're a non-issue to me. I don't care what you think. He is the teacher, isn't he? So the emotional journey that you're wanting to take is, you want to feel all right. You want to feel loving toward this teacher. You want to understand that this teacher is well-meaning. You want to say something to the teacher. Now here, just practice this in your mind. So you say to this teacher, male or female teacher?
Lady.
So you say to this lady, you know, I cannot tell you how nice it is to see how much you care about my little boy. So nice of you. So really, 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 really nice of you. And I feel sorry for you. Because he won't listen to me either. But I found that if I just sort of go with him, he's brilliant. And as a teacher, I thought you might like to know that. And I also discovered that when I don't try to entrap him and take away his perception of freedom, he's the nicest little fellow in the world to get along with. But when I give him the impression for a moment that he's not free, he fights for his life as if I had pressed a pillow to his face. And I remember feeling that way too. I bet you do too. So I stopped putting the pillow over his face. I started flowing with the idea of his perceived freedom. And I think he's going to make us both proud if we just stay out of his way and let him be the genius that he is. And by the way, thanks for all your trouble, and I appreciate everything you can teach him. I know he wants to learn from you. He tells me that he likes you. There are so many things that you do that he enjoys. You're a good teacher. I know that you are. And I'm sorry that my little one won't conform. But I think the geniuses of the world never conformed. And with enough conversations like that, she'll stop calling you in. When she finds out that she can't wield her power to make you make him do something that he's not going to do, she'll stop calling you in. And meanwhile, Joseph will thrive, and he'll win her heart, and he'll show her who he is. Yes.
Thank you.